joining us for Slightly More. I'm just going to give you a quick little heads up that these episodes come out every Monday and Wednesday right around noon. Noon-ish, but we're working on making it a little bit more consistent for you.
Sometimes it's like noon Taiwan time.
They come out on noon on YouTube, and then these podcasts do fill in literally everywhere that you guys like to listen to your podcast episodes. We just finished a series on doing the show, and it got us thinking. I do mentalism, which is mind reading, in my magic show. And Shane
but it's not the entire show.
It's not the entire show, and Shane has a strictly mind-reading show.
Yeah.
And we want to see and explore and engage you guys in what do we think the differences are between doing magic and mentalism in the same show versus keeping them completely separate. I've got some thoughts on this, but Shane is Shane's the mentalist of the group, so I feel he's more qualified to speak on this. So start us off.
I mean, it's a debate that's been going on for quite some time of should you, if you are a magician, should you put mind reading in your show, or vice versa? If you are a mentalist, should you have magic in your show? Does it decrease the validity of the mind reading if you put magic into your show? And then how is the mind reading perceived if you're a magician adding mind reading to your show? You know what? I have had, and lots of people have talked about this. This has been debated for years and years and years. And for the most part, it's pretty clear cut of the performers that think you should just be a magician or you should just be a mind reader.
Is that clear cut? Because I'm gonna differentiate that. But I will point out that I do think that the topic here is different than the idea of magic and hypnosis in the same show, which I feel magic and hypnosis should not be in the same show, because while magic is mostly tricks and can be portrayed as being real, hypnosis is a real thing that I feel is often not given the credit it deserves. And I think anytime you do magic in that show, it completely discredits hypnosis. Whereas mentalism, I don't know if there's as much people who know the real side of that versus the non-real side of that. Do people want to know that mentalism is real like they do with hypnosis?
Here's the thing, though. When you come away from a magic show and you see someone doing the vanishing bottle, you know that that's just a magic trick.
The vanishing bottle, for those tuning in, literally, I literally feel stupid that I had to clarify this, but it's you vanish a bottle.
You literally vanish a bottle.
That's it. Okay, so don't think that's some secret code. It's the vanishing bottle trick.
The vanishing bottle trick. So the audience comes away with that thinking, that was impressive, but it's a magic trick. With the mind reading show, it's completely different. I have literally flat out told people what you are seeing is not in any way real whatsoever. I do not have psychic abilities, yet they still will come up to me and go, okay, but for real, like, can you, I had my grandmother, she passed away a few years ago, can you please tell me what she's going to say? Or can you please just talk to me about things in my life and answer questions about, I'm like, this has happened, literally has happened to me. I said that in the beginning. The girl still came to me at the end of the show and said, okay, but I understand you told them that, but like, can you just
here's the thing.
have a meeting? And I still, to her face, said, remember when I said it wasn't like I was telling the truth? That wasn't a part of the act.
If you did a trick in your show, don't you think that would have been more clear that it was an act? If you did a trick in your show, if you really do want people to know that you can't do it for real?
That was in the beginning when I started doing shows. Okay. I used to actually open the show with a sort of disclaimer of what kind of Darren Brown does now, which without the psychological, it was just, what you're about to see is not real. I do not believe that I have any psychic abilities whatsoever, yet you will question that very statement by the end of the show. So it's a very ambiguous way to address that fact. I do not do that in my show. Now, I act I literally say nothing now. In fact, I even open my show now with a video that says that I had a clairvoyant experience when I was younger,
which is true,
and which is 100% true. And then I go straight into the show. So I say without saying that what you're seeing is real. And I literally could talk for 2 hours on how I actually do 100% believe that the mind has abilities within telepathy and clairvoyancy and energy and that sort of thing.
I believe
which
that
I'm not getting into on this episode, but Yeah, I just don't give a disclaimer now.
We have
but-
different views on this, and for multiple reasons. One, I want to say full-heartedly I believe Shane has, and this is not even a joke or like a performance thing, like, I don't even know if I've told you this, I fully believe, to the point where I've even told my girlfriend, like, hey, listen, I think Shane is the real deal. Because, like, things happen to this guy, and he predicts things and can either insane amounts of intuition or an incredible amount of experience or something. Literally, he has more, like, coincidences and clairvoyant things happen to him than anybody else I know, which is wild. So for him to show that off in his show would be very different from me, where literally my entire show, not even the magic in my show, am I trying to in any way come across as it being anything more than something fun that I learned how to do as a skill. So,
But do you think here's the deal though?
I know where you're
I
going
think
with this.
people buy into it because you tell people, body. It's what you hear a lot from a lot of even mind readers is, I'm doing this through body language reading and looking at your verbal cues and your physical cues. And while part of, I don't want to give it. Okay, so do you still think people believe that?
I think they used to when I would really nail it down hard. In walk around magic, yes, because the energy is different.
I think in a full mind reading show, if you were to come off like that, I think they would believe it.
Right.
But even in your show now, I still think they believe it's a trick. And I've watched the show probably 100 times now, and I literally can see the audience go, "That's." They literally, after you do the book test thing, right? And then afterwards they go, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
So it's this it's this you're teetering. It's a great place to be because your character goes towards that, right? Your character is. This is what goes into what. How are you defining your character? Because is your character, Chris's character, is someone that things kind of happen. These magical things happen to him, and not through him, right? So it's defining your character.
Dude, you guys just saw it here. Literally an idea formed in my mind for my show. What if Chris Michael, the character, believed that he was able to read body language, but it was just magic happening to him? I mean, that's a deeper thing we'll get into later. But so again, just going off the character idea, it really depends on how you want to portray it. I think you're right. But here's the thing. I don't market myself as a mind-reading show. It is Chris Michael's comedy magic show. It is a magic show. It's okay if the mind-reading comes across as a magic trick. For me, that's okay because my show is a collection, not a collection, it's a show which entails there being, in part of it, there's magic tricks that happen.
Yeah.
So I think, man, for me, it's okay if my mentalism comes across as being a magic trick. I would love for people to really believe it. And for those of you watching this, I do legitimately know how to read body language and nonverbal cues.
Right, that is an actual skill.
I actually can pretty much, for the most part, know what people are thinking, which so much to the fact where it's really helped me build my business. But do I need that to come across clearly in my show? It's a cool thing that I know how to do, but I also know how to play guitar. Do I show people that I can do that in my show? No.
Which you could.
I could. That'd be awesome.
I thought about adding music to my show as well.
So I guess for me, because I'm not marketing as a mind-reading show, and people aren't purchasing my show, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not hiring me to read minds or hiring me to entertain. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, I have lately debated adding or developing a show that is a mixture of magic and mind reading, but built around my own actual story and of my own life, where these weird things that have happened to me since I was 4 years old. So, it's magical things have happened. I'm just demonstrating what those things are through the effects, right? So, very much along the lines of what your show is, which is these things just kind of happen, but with the angle of I am causing these things. I can cause these things to happen through me instead of them happening to me. So it's a very different show. So I'm very actually
Whenever
curious.
I eat Taco Bell, I can get things to happen through
me. Yeah.
Through you know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
One thing started, and I totally cut you off for a stupid joke, but I did actually have a thought. So what's interesting is Shane also, back when he was doing that, he would also pitched the idea of doing cold readings or palm readings for his clients, and that if you're operating under that brand of hey, I want to do fortune telling for you as a bonus, people have to believe that you can do that. So in order to do that, you have to believe in your show.
Yeah.
For me, literally, I want people to just come across with that saying that guy was super talented and really funny, and his tricks were awesome.
Plus, my whole character, this sort of goes into, I want to briefly talk about this. I don't want to get too in depth on it. My character is the type of person that these crazy things that have happened to me throughout my life, I 100% actually believe that the mind has abilities that we fully haven't tapped into yet, and I'm demonstrating what those things are during the show. So it would be very off character for me to do a vanishing bottle in my show,
right?
For instance, even a card trick, which, for lack of a better way to explain this, really sucks because there's so many good magic tricks that I would love to put into a show, but I just can't because it would literally, if I were to do a show where I read minds
in a show. I was reading the question.
If I were to do a show, my full show is reading minds and showing that other people, that audience members can read each other's minds, and then I were to do a card trick, it literally would kill the entire rest of the show.
Yeah.
If I were to do a 58-minute show of mind reading, a powerful mind reading, and then the last 2 minutes do a crazy card trick, it literally would kill the rest of the show.
A crazy card.
Yeah, I mean, I have some pretty good long card tricks, but it would literally, they would go, oh, well,
okay, so
the whole thing was an act.
Here's something that blows my mind to think about, because I was totally on board with thinking it's just a choice, but I think per audience depends too, because let's say when we were performing for Birmingham Technology, an awesome tech company, but there were nuclear engineers and scientists, and they fully invested in me because I acknowledged that I am not there to fool them. I acknowledge that we are there to have fun and let loose, and hey, I acknowledge that you guys recognize these are tricks. I cannot fool a room full of engineers, but let's have fun and let loose together. And they're like, heck yeah, let's do that. If I got up there and went, hey guys, I am a legit and actual clairvoyant being standing before you, and I'm going to do things that may or may not make you feel violated towards the end, but don't worry because it's for the sake of entertainment.
Think mind reading's violating?
Oh yeah, and for the
there are some mind readers that are a little violating.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, right? Like to stand, like I think you could be so convincing, but skepticism is so big. Just like with hypnosis, man, skepticism is so powerful that even if you are doing it for real, you're still gonna have people who believe you're not. So
yeah, which is fine, but I would lean into.
But don't you think they're gonna be like this? They're gonna cross their arms and sit back in their chair and furrow their brow.
Not. I don't think with my show they would, because my show is not, hey, look what I can do and what you can't do. My show is literally all about, hey, look at this crazy thing that I think you have innate built within you in your own mind that you are capable of, which is also another debate. Should you come off as this is specifically for mind readers, should you come off as a person that says, I can do this and so can you with 20 years practice, right? Or I can do this because I have special abilities. Or the third option, which is the option that I currently sit in, which is I believe that we all have capabilities within our own mind that we're capable of. Powers within our own mind that we're capable of tapping into. And I'm going to show you personally what it's been for me, for my life, the things that have happened, and I'm going to show you what it's like for you. I believe that there are those of you out there in the audience right now that have incredible powers within your own mind that you aren't even aware of, and I'm about to show you how that's the case. It's the connection that we have, and it's the connection that you and I have together as an audience. My show is fully built around the connection between me and the audience, and the connection here and then physically here.
So here, I'm narrating what's going on. If you're listening to this, not watching, I'm sitting back in my chair and miming putting on a seatbelt and clicking in. I just got taken on a ride, dude, to Change My Mind Village. Change My Mind Town.
Okay.
I got on a train because here's the thing. I realize I am all about the stringing the audience along with you and creating experiences together as opposed to getting up there and say, look what I can do. I think that's actually why you just literally talked about something that I was feeling but I couldn't put words to. that's why I don't want to get up there, and I've never tried to come across as really being able to do it.
Yeah, you're like,
because
like you vanish the bottle and you go, thank you. Like, look at me. No, it's man, wouldn't it? No.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this be crazy?
And it's together.
Boom. You've built up. It's the relationship between you and the audience that is creating this magic.
And because the magic is an outside thing that Chris Michael as a character doesn't control, he doesn't know when things work and when they don't work. And that's why the comedy of the show is built in a lot of the time. I mean, Chris Michael is inherently a funny person as a character, but the idea of the magic happening without him really even being aware of it, whether or not it's guaranteed to happen, is a big part of the show. So because of that, it allows the audience to be involved in the show with me and things be happening to us together, as opposed to me doing things to the audience, which is very much what makes people cross their arms and furrow their brow. They don't like to be fooled. But if you're not fooling them, you're experiencing it as opposed to fooling them together. That's a huge thing. And for mentalism, that's a big deal. Is if you're literally saying, hey, everyone has the hardware installed, or everyone has the hardware built in. I'm going to tell you how to use that hardware to pick up on these things that I think everybody really can. Here's how you recognize them.
Yeah, I'm coming across saying that I think everybody has powers of intuition.
Not as powerful as Elon Musk. I mean, that guy literally walked into the future and grabbed it. Like, he literally did. But anyway.
It's completely lost now.
You were saying that not everybody can...
Right. So here's the thing.
Powers, everybody has the hardware, but you have to learn how to access it. You're teaching the audience, hey, here's things that we can all do, but if you really pay attention to it, I can show you how to bring those aspects of your life out that make you more intuitive.
And I'm going to be completely open and honest. I'm even actually really almost considering going full on, like, hey, this is real. Because this is a complete side note, I do actually believe that mind reading is real. That's probably going to set me apart. People on here are going to think that I'm crazy as hell, but I actually do think it's real. But
Dude,
that's complete side note.
After things I've seen him do and things he's said that have literally happened right after several... why do we always go to Mexican restaurants?
We do go to a lot of Mexican restaurants.
After lots of tacos and tequila, I mean, things have happened, man. And this guy, that sounds like a start to a joke, but it's not. Like, for real, you've convinced me. So, I mean, if anybody could be convinced of it, it should be you.
So here's going back to the question: should you mix magic and mind reading? I think you can, if you fully lean into that. I think it only will work is if it happens to you and not through you, right? So, these crazy things just happen to me. Like things vanish and change, and together we're able to figure out words that you guys have just looked at in a book with me nowhere near, or cards that you guys have selected, and so we're all doing this together as a group. I think then and only then does it work. Which is why, but there again, I think there's still some things that you can work on in the couple of mind reading effects that you have in your show, where you can still lean into that character even more so than just hey, it's body language. And I just think that people they go, okay, maybe.
Well, it depends on what your goals are. If your goals are you're putting mind reading in your show to be fooling and really blow people's minds, and I think steer clear of that if you're doing it in a magic show. Because if you're trying to really say, hey, and you know what else my character can do? He can also read minds. And you're doing magic in that same show, it's like, well, what is it? It's just not believable, because how is it that some guy who can be a caster of magic can now also read minds? How do those two incredibly rare, so sparse skill sets happen to the same person? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm currently debating on in my own head, of maybe developing a show around these abilities. Maybe it's not just a mind reading ability, or the ability to literally... Here's where I think the issue comes in is people leave a mind reading show going, that's possible. That actually could be real.
Yeah.
But people don't leave a magic trick show or magic show going, that actually...
And that's ingrained in our society, unfortunately.
Could be real. I would even go as far... Here's the extreme of a magic show. David Copperfield. literally gets in a flat platform that is swung out over top of the audience. He literally is standing directly above you. A curtain goes all the way around him. The curtain comes down and he's gone. Literally gone. As incredibly magical as that is, people still leave that show going, how in the heck did he vanish? Was he still in the thing, or did he get out when we weren't looking? They still don't go, that's not a trick, that's real.
That's because that's ingrained in our society and our culture to know what a magician is, right? Like,
right.
That's not a thing that's equal across the entire world. Not everybody has the same expectations. Some people really do believe in magic and all this. And I think that in America, at least, and the UK and other places where magic is just super prevalent and the idea of magicians has been around for hundreds of years, I think that it's going to be a hard sale to do a magic show and say, wait a minute, whoa, I'm not like these other guys, I'm my own thing, because lots of guys have tried that approach.
Yeah.
I will say, if you are, and if you must do magic in the same show as you're doing your mind reading, or vice versa, you're doing mind reading in your magic show, at least be consistent about saying all these are tricks or all this is real. Don't be the guy who says, all right, now those tricks, those were tricks.
All right, go ahead.
But the mind reading,
those are real.
That's 100%
Your audience
real.
will not believe you.
They won't.
So here's two suggestions. One just off the cuff, and one I want to specifically talk about
wait.
a routine.
I thought of an example. Let's say you're going and you see a bunch of high-end shoes, sneakers, right? You see a bunch of Jordans, and literally every Jordan that the guy is trying to sell you shows you that they're fake. He's like, oh, this was just a replica, so it's cheaper. Is it a replica? It's a replica. And he goes, but hold on, whoa, this one.
Yeah.
Hey,
this is the real deal.
This one is for real.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, well...
Yeah.
Even if I want to believe it's real, I've got to be a little skeptical. You can't help it. Literally everything in your body can be like, that was real, but you'd be like, but it was around a bunch of fake Jordans, so how do I really know? You're going to get that emotion from your audience if you mix the two.
Yeah, I think there's two things that you could do. One, like I said, is just off the cuff thinking for you guys' show, and then one I specifically want to say about one of your routines. First thing is, once again, just lean into the character of, if you're a magician that's adding mind reading, please don't try to come off, like Chris was saying, please don't try to come off that it's real, because your audience will not believe you, and you will lose credibility with your audience.
And you're ruining it for the other mentalists. You really are. You are. Because if, let's say you see one hypnotist who's doing pseudo-hypnosis, which, surprise for those of you who don't know it, pseudo-hypnosis is a thing. Is it practiced on stage that much? Not really, because if anybody gets caught doing pseudo-mentalism, pseudo-hypnosis, then everyone that does real hypnosis is discredited. It's the same thing with like stooging. Yeah. If you use a stooge in a mentalism show and you plant people in the audience and somebody finds out, well, now it discredits a lot of the other things you do. Which I'm not saying do or don't use stooging. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying be careful if you do, because this is the outcome you might get.
Right. So the second thing is just fully leaning to the character. Point being, you do a routine where you toss out a deck of cards, and then you have those people stand up that they look like they take the cards, they peek at a card, and then they toss it to 5 or 6 other people, right?
Of course, just like the vanishing bottle was a vanishing bottle, the tossed out deck is a deck you toss out in the audience, people pick cards. So tossed out deck is a tossed out deck.
I know who we had on here. That's what
vanishing bottle is a
So I think if you were to even more so lean, so you could still go the body language route, but because your character is a comedian magician, a comedy magician, and I think I've mentioned this to you before, when you bring those 5 people up, like, have them do crazy things. Like, I'm going to need you to turn in a circle 3 times. Oh, no, wait, go back the other way. So now you're doing these crazy things going,
it seems like
red card, right? Yeah. So it's still... You're still going on this claim of body language reading and
but it's
reading verbal
fake.
cues. Yeah, or you're like, blink your eyes real quick like this. See, it's the verbal cues that you can pick up on. But now it's this funny thing of like, do this right here, look side to side like this, look all around like, diamond, huh?
Blink 3 times?
Yeah.
Oh, you blinked 4.
Yeah,
Eggs
yeah.
for breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh, no? Oh, you blinked 5 times then.
Yeah, so eggs for breakfast and your card's a diamond, right?
Yeah.
And I go, yes. And so now you've hit twice. Anyway, it's a complete side note. But, so yeah, if you were to like really lean into that, I think so people will go, so then you have this.
Next show, I'm doing that. I'm doing that next show that I do
Literally
Toss Up
have
Dead.
each person do something super
I'm
funny.
doing that.
So then you have this great moment of you're saying it's body language, but you're kind of like in on it with the audience by having these people do these crazy things. But then after that, they still go, wait a second, was that? Did he have them do all that just to be funny? Or was he? So now you have this beautiful moment of you're not openly trying to be real or trick them by saying you could do it for real. It's all built around that character. So you still have this beautiful moment where you're still with the audience. They're still with you together.
By the way, something that totally off note, but it just came to me when you were talking about the blinking thing and the take your wallet out of your pocket and place it in one of your shoes, sir. Your right shoe? Only a criminal would put it in his right shoe. That means a diamond is what you have because criminals choose diamonds.
Yeah.
And he says yes. Yeah. Or it'd be funny if he was like, no. And I'd be like, oh, then it's a spade.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Totally misread you there.
Yeah. So fully lean in. The last thing is just if you're going to add, I don't think it could be, as a final say-so, at least for me, if you're a magician, I think you can add mind reading into your show if you fully lean into the character that the mind reading is not real, because you'll lose all credibility with your audience. But I still think that if you are a mentalist, if you're a mind reader, it's extremely hard to add actual magic tricks into your show and not discredit your entire thing. Even if you tell people, oh, it's just body language reading and psychology and hypnosis and influence and things of that nature, right?
So that's your final thoughts. My final thought is this. Don't listen to us. Do whatever you want. Be creative and unique and maybe try a combination of the two that we haven't thought of.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We're gonna cut the camera off and actually go back to you guys and look through all the comments to see what you all have been saying.
Interact with you guys a little bit.
Yeah,
Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, so if you're watching the video that's on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or listening to the podcast, do you think, hit us up, leave a comment on all the socials, wherever you're watching this, do you think that you can mix magic and mind reading? Do you think you lose credibility one way or the other? Do you think that you should... I think another episode would be like just on mind reading. I've still been curious. Do you fully lean into the we do this for real, or do you fully lean into the it's just body language and psychology?
So let us know
people
what
believe that? Actually, here's my question. And still on this debate, if you were to go to a mind reading show, do you actually believe that it's real? Or that it can be real? Do you believe someone if they tell you, it's just body language and psychology and misdirection and influence? Do you believe that? What are your thoughts?
Let us know. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're going to see you Mondays and Wednesdays right here.
But we're going to close out on here.
And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch Beyond the Magic, because we put out these awesome episodes. We want you guys to see the behind the scenes of everything that we do. I think you'll really enjoy them. Thanks so much for tuning into this. I wish we had an official sign-off, but Shane's probably got something that he does.
Howie Mandel.
That's how he reads minds.
That is.
All right, I told you mind reading is very vitalating. It's so vitalating.